Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? I hope everybody's doing great. First of all, I want to apologize that I have not been releasing videos for Friday. I've been busy, as y'all have been seeing in the vlogs. I'm traveling, doing work. I just don't have time and the resources to do videos for Friday. But now that I have time, I'm gonna be doing a reaction / review of the new movie Beauty and the Beast 2017 edition. First of all, I want to explain my initial thoughts. Honestly, I had mixed feelings. Taking a Disney classic, making it into live action. We've seen this done with The Jungle Book, and they did a pretty great job of sticking to the story. Not exactly making it realistic in terms of the story, more believable, but the animation was incredible. The animation, everything was just great about it. But I'm not here to talk about Jungle Book, I'm here to talk about Beauty and the Beast. So as I was going into the theater, I was anxious. I was thinking, how great is it gonna be? What are the differences compared to the original film? What are gonna be the same? Is it gonna be true to the story? Is it gonna be believable? And when I left the theater, I still had mixed feelings because I still wasn't sure. Like, I was still trying to take it in. Like, this is something I grew up on. Beauty and the Beast, along with all the other Disney classics. Even though Lion King is my favorite, I am super excited, by the way, for the live action to come out. If they ruin that one, I'm gonna be so upset. But anyway, and so because I grew up all the Disney classics, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, although I wasn't a fan of Little Mermaid for many reasons, the point is, I was and still kind of am a Disney fanatic. Hakuna Matata, yo. So what did I like about the new Beauty and the Beast? To be honest, it was a little hard to digest initially in the beginning because as I was watching it, I was frequently comparing it to the original, scene by scene, line by line, just analyzing it thoroughly to make sure, like, is it staying true to the story? Are they gonna divert from it? But all those concerns were put to rest after I watched it a second time, and then I finally understood what approach the filmmakers were coming from. I would say that about maybe 85 to 90% of the film was about the same. The cast selection was brilliant, well done, a great choice of actors and actresses to play all the characters, so they absolutely get an A on that. The costumes, the sets, the cinematography, the music, they were just on point. There were, however, some scenes that were taken out or alternated due to the fact that the filmmakers were taking on the approach and they decided that they wanted to make it as realistic as possible, staying away from being fictitious. And also, I'd like to add that if they were to make the film exactly as the way they did it, frame by frame, scene by scene, as they did in the original cartoon, I would actually think that they would have rated it a strong PG-13 or even an R because of the imagery and the dramaticness and the dark themes of it. And so that's why I think when they were approaching the film, they were going for the realistic approach to make it more believable. There were 3 takeaways that I got from the movie. The normalization of diversity in a culture and society, a strong female lead as a independent individual, and a small hint of homosexuality placed in there. Regarding the diversity in culture, first of all, like in the prologue of the film, right? We all know in the original classic that it's a man's voice doing that. And I mean, I was so fascinated by it, the original that is. And so when I heard the woman's voice in the beginning, it automatically put me in that mode of defense, like, whoa, where's this going? Is this, you know, how it is, etc. So that's one major difference that I noticed immediately. And then throughout that first scene, right, the backstory of how this began, you see a lot of women of color in that ballroom. At least in my understanding, in the original film, there were no really any people of color. It was just all predominantly Caucasian characters. And then later on in the song Belle, the librarian, right? We know in the original classic he was an older gentleman, and he was Caucasian. But in the new film, he's a young black man, and it's like, wow, that's kind of cool. Like, they are really pushing the normalization of African Americans, people of color, people of a diverse background in society, and it's a normal thing. So kudos to that for the filmmakers on making that decision. With regards to having a strong lead woman as the lead actress, I think that was just fantastic. Even though it was done in the original classic, but it wasn't really enforced. It was more of, she wasn't a side character, Belle. Obviously it's about her, but it kind of made her secondary in a way, or she might have been portrayed as being a little weak and stuff. But here in the new film, she's much more strong-willed, and I think Emma Watson did a great job of portraying Belle to be a source of inspiration for girls all over the world, because that's what we kind of need nowadays. Belle's character, I mean, she's smart, outspoken, innovative, and she stands up for herself when she believes in something. For example, when she made that laundromat out of donkey and a barrel, which I thought was like genius, and she was teaching that girl how to read while that was happening, some of the villagers were like looking at her like, what are you doing, right? Why is this happening, right? And they obviously trashed her stuff and made it embarrassing for her, which, by the way, is not cool, bro, at all. But I think it was important that the filmmakers wanted to address it and basically, in a way, say enough is enough, right? It's 2017, right? We shouldn't have to keep thinking this way. And lastly, the third message that I saw, or that I got from the film, was the small hint of homosexuality. It's been speculated so many times and rumored that LeFou, Gaston's best friend, had affection towards Gaston, and in my understanding, it was quite apparent that he did so. It was done in a funny manner, but yeah, I think he was. And it was also more apparent that they wanted to push the idea of homosexuality being normal in the last fight scene, right, with the dresser. I forgot the character's name. They resembled it in the original classic, where the dresser grabbed a villager bad guy and took him out of her drawers, and he was dressed in women's clothing, and he freaked out and he ran off. In this version, they had 3 bad guys come and attack, and they were all dressed in women's clothing after she, closed the door on them and then opened up. But 2 of them freaked out. One of them smiled, and he was so happy about it, like this is who he is, kind of thing. It was silly, goofy, but also weird at the same time. My last few thoughts about the film, the singing. Emma Watson did a fantastic job with singing Belle's parts in her songs. I like the American approach that she came with it, even though she's originally English, but I just liked her style, right? It was something new. It was kind of warm and welcoming. At least that's what I felt when I was hearing her sing. So I think she did a great job with that. Obviously, LeFou, played by what's-his-face, who played Olaf. I forgot his name. I apologize. But he's obviously a great singer, and he was so funny when he was singing the song for Gaston in the bar to uplift Gaston and make him feel good about himself. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But I remember seeing a preview when Gaston was singing in his own song, and I was a bit disappointed because I was, again, comparing it to the original film. I was comparing his voice to be more masculine and, like a jock and very manly, if you will. But as soon as he started singing, it was not the same. But after I watched it the second time, again, it goes under the umbrella of realism.
No one's voice sounds just like this, being Gaston and mighty and large.
No, it was a much more realistic approach, and I think it could have been a little bit better, but overall I think it did a good job. A couple other things that I wanted to mention was that, like I said before, there were a few scenes that were changed or alternated, but I wish there were some parts within those scenes that they kept that were true to the story, especially true to the original animated film. Was, for example, in the last fight scene with the Beast and Gaston, right, when Beast holds Gaston by the throat and hangs him over the roof, about to drop him and kill him. And then in the original cartoon, right, it has that slow dolly into Beast's face, and he's just like so angry and furious, right? He wants to just get rid of this guy who's challenging him for Belle's heart, and he has the power to obliterate him, but then he realizes this is wrong and I'm gonna back out, right? And then there's that trickle of piano that comes in, and you see his eyebrow and his face relaxes, and he just pulls back in, and then he just pulls him up and he says, "Get out." Right? When he says that I felt like that was much more powerful than the way they did it in the new film, where he just pulls him in and he says, "I am not a beast." And then he starts yelling, "Get out," as Gaston, like, you know, scurries away. Again, I think it would have been much more impactful if they stuck with the original approach in the original film. There was another part that I wish they kept, but it might have been a little bit too violent for children to watch. But when the wolves come and attack Belle as she's escaping the castle's grounds, and the Beast comes and saves her, the way they did it in the original was pretty scary by today's standards. But I wish they just kept the intro part of that rescuing moment, where the Beast comes and he intercepts the wolf from attacking Belle, grabs him and yells and screams in his face. I felt like that would have been much more impactful if they kept it that way, instead of him yelling and, you know, scaring them off at the end. But I think, again, under the umbrella of realism, they wanted to make it as real as possible, and that would not have happened. So I think that's it. There's so much more I could talk about, but overall, I think it was a great movie. I definitely give it like a good A+. Like it's really, really good. And that's just because I'm a fan of the original film, and I like the way they approached it, with the modern technology and just everything encompassing it. I really, really appreciate it, and I really, really do love it. And I would definitely encourage all you guys to watch it if you haven't already, but that doesn't make sense if you're watching this video. If you are and you haven't watched it yet, that's on you. So then I pose the question, would I watch this film again? Absolutely yes. Why? Because tale as old as time. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button, and also make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload another video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.